reading properties. Properties. So why is we are using in real-time project regularly properties file? What is the importance of this property file and how to read in our application? We are going to learn. Okay. So generally, property files are using to configuration values we are adding, right? So why we are adding property files? Because is maybe changing environment to environment. Okay, for example, if you want to connect to the database which is required, database URL, username, password, driver details, right? And those details we are externalizing the properties. And because in real time we have different environments like we need to test in the dev environment, QA environment, right? Perf environment, then prod, right? We have these different stages are there. Our application is running. So different environment, the different username password is changed, right? Correct. So password is changing, or username is changing, right? And the driver details. Okay. So these type of details we should externalize it. You don't add in our application in Java file, because if you add into the Java file, what happens? If you change it, then what happens? Again, you need to recompile, rebuild the application, and deploy the complete jar into or where into the server. It's taking a more time, right? But if you use the property file, if anything changes is done, no need to do recompile and rebuild. Just we need to restart the server is enough. So a lot of time is saving. So configuration details are adding into the property file. Okay. So how we are doing in Spring now? Okay. So here generally in my Spring.xml file, we're adding the bean, which is the bean driver manager data source, right? For here, what you are writing URL. So how we are reading value equal to your which one dynamic value you are calling dollar, that is a key name, and this is a key name oracle.url. This is a key, and this where you are writing database.properties. Clear? So here we are not hard coding the value. These are we are getting dynamically. Where you are getting from the properties file. In properties file, how we can write key and value. This is a way to write the key and value. Clear? Any doubt?
No,
Clear?
sir.
Okay. So only the configuration details or frequently modified details is better to write in a property file. And if anything changes are happen, don't need to compile, right? Let's see. Still are joining? Okay. So this type of things we can write here. But if I'm using annotation approach, this is XML, right? In XML, we are writing the bean ID class equal to and property name equal to URL and value. So value I'm not giving directly. So I'm giving the dynamic value key dollar curly braces oracle.url. So where is getting from property file. So oracle.url this is here this actual value you are giving. Correct? So like that we can do. And if you are using annotation approach, we can write the one driver class details, and there you can write a thread value and a dollar curly braces, and you can give the key name. And this key where is getting from the property file. And to read the property file, we need to inform to container. So I'm reading this property file, this values Oracle URL username or MySQL database details. How we are conveying, you need to add the some specific tag. The tag name is context colon property placeholder. What is the tag? Context colon property placeholder. Okay, and the location equal to where is the location? We can give class path colon. This is a property file name. Clear? So because we are writing one extra property file, and that extra property file where is available, we need to inform to the container, right? Application context container. So which tag we are using? Context colon property placeholder, and the location equal we are giving. Clear? Clear everyone? So we can execute this application. So I already developed just now. So just I am going through the each one. So first I am writing service file. In service file, I'm taking the database properties bean, and this is which is not a service, right? And we can use @component, or we can use which one, service. Okay, and what is the bean ID I'm taking? Same, the class name start with the small letter, database props I'm giving. This is a bean ID. Okay, and also we can use which one, component also we can use here. And what is that? Driver class name, URL, username. We are using this a simple type, right? All are simple type. No need to use here @auto_var. We can use which one? @value annotation. And we are giving the key value. This key value we are getting from the property file. So this is the property file. Oracle driver class name. Okay, Oracle username, password, right? All the details we are getting. Clear? And next one, in this configuration file, we need to configure, right? And I'm using annotation approach. So annotation approach, where is this all the beans are available? I'm giving the intimation by calling context :component scan and base package equal to this is, right? And next one, placeholder, property placeholder, where is available in class path : what is the package, COM, RAS, and the resource and database properties. Now it's loading, right? And next one, client program. So in client program, what we are doing, first reading the XML file. So in this XML file, what is the details are there? What details are there? There is no bean configurations, just we are conveying where the beans are available by using which one, context : component scan base package equal to com.ras.service. They're going to this base package, the service here. This is a com.ras.service. Here is the bean is there, and this bean is injecting, means object is creating. In this one, the simple type properties are there, right? This simple type properties, how we are injecting by calling @value, and we are not giving the directive values, so we are giving dynamic. So dollar curly brace Oracle.driver, and this vary are available. And come back to the XML file, it's checking is which type, context : property placeholder, where is available, RAS, resource, and the database properties. Come to the database properties. Is Oracle driver class name is there? Yes, is there. This value is injecting now. Like that, all properties are injecting. Clear? And then we are getting the bean. Context.getBean of this one, database props. So this is a key name we are given. So what is that ID? What is this? If we are giving directly ID, we can use it. If we are not giving, what happened? This start with a small letter and complete class name is taking. Okay, so I'm giving the DB props and return this bean object, and we're printing those details: driver class name, URL, username, password. Okay, let me run. Nice. Java. So we are able to read these details, right? Oracle.jdbc driver, Oracle username, password. Okay, where these details are available in the properties file. Okay, first you can copy this one to execute in our system. First, you can create one property file. In property file, these details we need to add here. Okay, next one. Next, which is required, string.xml file is required. In string.xml, this configuration is required. You can add into your system. Okay, I'm writing here string.xml. Okay, in this string.xml, this is the required. Okay, next, bean class is required. What is the bean class here? Just database properties bean. Okay, just we can add this bean @ID and a simple type. And after that, you can write the setters and getters. Just I'm copying from here. Okay, are you copying? Now you should execute in your system. Clear? All the resources are available, and main program you know already, right? So same code base. So we are using application context, then we are giving the location, and we call the get bean and print those details. Right? Any doubt how we are reading the property files? And if we are using XML approach, we can write here bean ID and DB properties props equal to value equal to, we can write a dollar curly braces, like this tag we are using. If we are using XML configuration, but I'm using for this bean is annotation approach, right? So that is the reason I'm using the which one? This is the component scan. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir.
So understood how we are reading the property file?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Clear, right? And to execute in our system all the data I shared here, did you copy? Copy here or not? So you should execute in our system, okay? Clear? Next one, we completed property files reading. Okay, next one, another small topic is there. Spring Bean scopes is there. Okay, that we can discuss. And before that, some theory topic is there one. So internally, how Spring container create an object? So how is creating the Spring container, the Bean objects? So we are activating the any one of the container implementation classes, right? If we are using XML Bean Factory, we are using XML Bean Factory. I'm using the which one? Application context container. So for this container to activate in which we are using class path XML application context. And this is what is doing, it is a early loading, right? So whenever this object is creating and we are passing the XML file details, and in this XML, what are the beans are configured, those beans automatically object created and its dependent properties also injecting. Okay, so while injecting object, it's creating multiple objects or one object. So the by default, whatever the bean you configured, that all the beans is a Spring container creating only one bean object. It's not creating. Whenever you're calling multiple times get bean, it won't create multiple objects. Only one object is create and return the same thing. Means internally Spring container means application context container. It's following which design pattern? Singleton design.
Singleton.
So how I want to change that pattern. I want to get the new object every time. So that case we can learn the which one, the scope, Spring Bean scopes. We have a different scopes are there. Singleton, prototype, request, session. Okay, that we can mention here. So if we are using XML configuration, we can use bean ID. This is a way you're writing, right? Bean up to here. We can add here. Attribute is a scope. Scope equal to singleton. By default is taking singleton only. So every time is returning same object. Whenever calling context.getBean, okay? And I want to return the different object every time. Then you can write scope equal to prototype. Then every request it's getting a new object. So based on requirement, you can utilize it. Okay, this is the way we can doing internally, and this is a process. I share this document. Okay. This is a design pattern.
So,
Yeah.
in this scenario, we want to create multiple objects.
Now, in web application scenario, for example, you have done that which one servlet login application, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, in that case, so every user has same credential.
No.
That is the case. We have to create each request, each object you need to create. So the common data, where the common data is there, their time we have to use a singleton.
Give me an example for common.
For example, you develop the one web application, okay, and you done the all the which one controller logic, service logic, DAO logic, and DAO logic what is doing is communicate with the database, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And while connecting to the database in Hibernate, we developed the one common utility class. What is that? Session factor related. In the same way in JDBC, common things what is there? For all the users,
Connection
is
username,
get the connection object up to is every user is common. For that, every time you need to create a new connection object. No, right? So it's a performance degraded. In that case, we can apply the singleton design pattern.
Okay,
Clear?
sir. Yes. Thank you.
Understood, right? So same thing, if interviewer asks the same questions only. You whatever you're asking question, same interviewer will ask. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Srinivas Yadav. Srinivas Yadav, what is the time now? Sivaraj Yadav.
Sorry for late coming.
Already we informed, right? Sunday effect.
Yes, sir. Last night I have finished day before classes, spring
Okay.
classes.
So late night you practiced it?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? This is the reason you are wake up late?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Till 2:30 I was wake up.
Oh, great. Great commitment.
Yeah.
I thought you are doing some different work.
No, sir.
I think Srinivas sir said we have some interview.
Yeah, he was saying about the workshop, about the patterns. Yesterday he has taken the classes.
Okay. Are you attending?
Has a class.
Are you guys attending interviews every weekend, every Saturday?
At right now, there is no interview scheduled, sir.
Okay. How is are you going offline or online for interview?
Offline only, sir.
Okay. It's coming to our institute or you're going somewhere?
As of now, sir said some companies will come to interview for the campus only, and some of we have to go to company. So he let us know whenever there is a interviews will be available.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Ramchar. Can you hear me, Ramchar?
Hello.
Try to attend every day so that you can get a complete information how the spring is working. Okay. So just now, Shivraj, just now we discussed about how to read the property file. We discussed here. Okay, property file. Why? Just I am repeating. But these two guys are late join, right? Still anybody joining? Just inform in the group. WhatsApp group is there, right? Again, you need to repeat the same topic. Yeah, COVID already informed, right, in the group?
Yes, sir.
Still is joining anyone, or we can continue session. Today we'll complete this 4 module context model. Tomorrow we can start new model, Spring JDBC model. Okay, so this is one topic is completed. So reading the property file, how to read the property file, and what is the importance of property files we discussed here. So what is the importance of property file means whatever the configuration values are there and what are the frequently changeable values are there, those things we can write in a property file. And if you want to change anything, we can simply change in the property file. No need to do compile and rebuild our application. Just refresh the server, then automatically load latest properties. Okay, for that, how we are reading in the Spring configuration, our Spring module. So first of all, you have to create a one property file, some any name dot extension should be dot properties. Okay, can you see right screen? Any name dot properties. So just relevant name you can give the relevant name database dot properties. So what is the details are required to connect the database? Driver class name, URL, username, password. These are the required. Okay. And coming to this XML file, we need to inform to container. I'm reading that property file. That is another file, right? In this XML file, to convey that property file, you need to load. How we are conveying by using this line number 10, context colon property placeholder, and where is the location, and we are giving class path colon your complete package name dot file name dot property file name. After that, these properties where you are injecting in the bean class. So bean class I did not return, right? Bean ID class equal. I'm using which approach? Annotation approach. And that annotation, how we are informing to container by adding this tag context colon component scan, and where is the this beans are available base package equal to com.ras.service, and going to this package com.ras.service. This is the bean, and how is creating the bean object by using @service annotation. Yesterday we discussed about it, and this is the bean ID. And here, what are the properties are there? Driver class name, URL, username, password. And these values, how we are injecting, we are initializing by using @value annotation. And we can give directly name, right? Directly driver class name, direct URL you can give. But if you want to change in the next scenarios or next requirement, again, don't touch any Java code. Once you deploy into the server or production, don't touch any Java code. Just to change in the property file only. So if you change the property file, no need to recompile, rebuild our application. Just to restart the server is enough. So lot of time is saving. So that is the reason all the configuration details we are writing in a property file. And this property file reading with how the dynamic value by calling $curly braces and key name. And this is the same key name should exist in the property file. See here, Oracle.driver class name. Same thing is there right here, Oracle.driver class name. Now for this key, what value you are giving? This is the value, Oracle.jdbc.driver.Oracle driver. Okay, so this is the way the value is initializing for all the properties. Next, coming to the main class, we are activating the container, right? So which container using? Application context container. And application context container is an interface. That implementation class is what? Class path XML application context. Class path application context, it's looking for which one? Where our XML files are available. So I'm giving this XML file. So, and application context container is which one? Early loading is not a lazy loading. Means early loading means whenever XML file is reading, in this XML file, what are the beans are there, automatically those objects is created at the time of reading the XML file only. Okay. So at the time here, what is there any bean definitions are there? Like bean ID, class equal is not there. So we are using annotation approach. We know we are using annotation, but how the container knows? By adding this tag, context : component scan, base package equal to, and this one. And go to this package com.ras.service. Yeah, here is this bean is identified, and which annotation you are using to create a bean object? @service annotation. Okay, @service annotation, and this is a bean ID. And where what are the properties are there? Simple type properties. This is right. And this value, how we are injecting? By using @value annotation. And this value, where you are getting this key value? From the property file. So property file is there or not? How we are informing to Spring container? By adding context : property placeholder. Property placeholder. Location equal to class path : you can give the fully qualified name. It's visible or not?
Visible, sir.
So this is a way to we're conveying to the container. So by where is the property file is available? What is the tag name? Context : property - placeholder. So this is a way we are conveying. Now going to that location and checking these keys. The keys are available. What is the key name? Oracle.url. Yes, is there? Yes, is there. And what is this key value? This value is injecting to that property. Okay. And now after that, the bean object is ready. We are calling the get bean, and it's written the bean object. And once you got the bean object, you are calling all the bean properties. Driver class name, URL, username, password. Right. Now I'm testing this application whether all the proper way of configuring and all the objects are created or is getting any null pointer exception. No exception is successfully. We are reading the property file, whatever the details are configured. Right? See here in the property file, these only details are there, right? Same thing we are reading. System Rajesh, and this is a link URL. This is a way to read the external property files in the Spring. I'm using here which one? Annotation approach. If you are using XML approach, what is right? You need to write the bean ID and class equal to property name equal to URL and value equal to. You can use same thing. You can value equal to. Don't give direct value. You can give same this syntax curly braces and key name and close the curly braces. That is for XML approach. Okay, clear? So this is we discussed just now. So after that we are going to discussing which one, this Spring Bean scopes. So scope, this is a common interview question. It's very important and focus on it. Okay. So here also we can do two ways, XML approach and annotation approach. Both we can discuss here. Okay. So I given in the notepad. So if you want to do in the XML approach, we can write the bean ID equal to class equal to and scope equal. So we have a different scopes. Okay, scope equal to singleton. Correct. So default, whether you as of now we didn't configure this attribute, right? Still now what is taking by default Spring container is taking singleton object only. But my requirement is different. I want to create each time whenever call the getBean object, I want to return the new object. So in that case, we can add which one, scope equal to prototype. Okay, see the document. You have different things are there. We can make the Spring container to create a Spring Bean object in one of the following scopes. So default scope is what? Singleton. Whether you configure or not configure, by default is taking singleton. Singleton means what? Every time same object is returning. It's not creating new object whenever you're calling the getBean. Okay. Next one, prototype. Prototype means I want to whenever call the getBean method, I want to return every time is a new object. Then we can configure this prototype. Scope equal to prototype. Okay. Next to request session and global session. These three things we are going to discuss in the web application. So just now we discussed, right? Mubashir, you asked this question. So in a web application, every time new object you want to create are the same session object. Session object when you are using, once you log in, for your every user it's created a own session object until you log out. Okay, and global session means all the users common access data. These three things are using in the web applications. Clear this file? Singleton, prototype, request, session, global session.
Yes, sir.
So now we can test our application by this scope, how it's working. So XML configuration, this is the syntax. If you are using annotation, we can use annotation name is @scope annotation is there. And we can mention that what is the scope you want. Okay, so let me test that scenario. Already executed. So in the classroom, we are executing, taking the more time. So that's why already executed application and show. So scope annotation demo. So this is, and what is the beans are there? Student bean I am taking, simple example. And here this annotations I commented, right? So means I am using XML. First I am discuss with the XML approach. Okay, student. What is the properties are there? Student ID, student name. These two properties are there. Okay, and next to toString method is there. That's it. Setter getters and toString methods. Next one, configuration file. Okay, Spring Bean, mybean.xml or string.xml file. Here XML approach we are writing. Bean ID equal to student, class equal
Sir,
to.
could you increase the font of this XML file?
So this
I have
we have option.
I have idea. I know that how to increase that.
Yeah, tell me now.
In window preferences.
I checked with the Java only. But yeah, tell me.
Yeah, search here font.
Sir, you can simply press Control plus
Font.
button, sir. Control
Sorry?
plus, sir.
Control.
Plus the plus button, sir.
Yeah,
On the
okay.
keyboard.
I did.
Control Shift plus.
It's not getting. So let me try with Windows option only.
Window preferences. Search here font, text font. Yeah, color and font. Click it and search here in the box font to text. Text font.
XML.
Text font. Text font.
Text.
Option.
Let me explain it. Otherwise, here STS is different, I think. So let me ask him.
I did that way, sir. I increased you my pound. That's why I said to you.
So this is I'm using. Are you using same STS?
Eclipse, sir. Eclipse.
Eclipse some may be different. I'm checking how to increase the font size, right?
In SPS, it's working. Control Shift Plus.
Select
the text. Yes, sir. Control Shift Plus.
I did this one. You can see in the Stack Overflow. Windows preferences, appearance, colors, and font. Basic. Here is we'll check preferences, appearance. Windows preferences. Appearance, colors, and font. Colors and font. And this one basic test. So where is the basic? Java editor. I updated Java editor. Yeah, this is the basic. Basic. That basic text font. Text font here. Edit. Certain is the 14 and it's like bold. Apply and close. Now it's updated, right? Now it's visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's now updated. So this is the way I'm using. Stack Overflow is giving the best solution, right? So you also, if you have any doubt you can check in the Stack Overflow. So now we are giving the P ID student and the class is this one and scope. The first scope we are checking with the which one? Singleton. Okay, see we have options: prototype, request, session, singleton. So first I am using singleton approach, and means only one object is creating and that object is contain the same property. Always student ID and student name. This is we getting correct. First I am taking student one. Which singleton object I'm checking, and check with which one main class. So in main class I'm using the which approach XML file approach I'm reading, right, and I'm calling this to get bin of student ID, yes one, and next to we are printing those details. We are already override toString method, right, so we are getting that details, and after that again I'm calling the get bin, line number 23. Right, is visible 23. Then it's a return the which one same student object or not. We'll check it. And if both are is hash code is same or not, we are checking equal operator, right? If S1 equal to S2, then same object. Otherwise, a different object. Okay. And otherwise, you can print the which one get hash code is also there, right? Whether the object is same or not, or which one you are using, hash code method is there, right? So once again, I can execute here. Run as so Java application. So what is printing here? Same. That means line number 25 condition is true and printed is same. Same or different. Okay. So same object returning. Object return. Here is different object is returning. Correct? So we configured which one? Scope equal to singleton. So that is the reason singleton means always return the same object. Clear? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
So here you get returning same object. But every time I want to return a different object, then we can change in the XML file. I'm using XML approach. Scope equal to singleton, right? Let's remove control space. It's giving the prototype. Okay, and here is a different object will return. Correct. So we can print that which one object IDs as well. So both object, if it's a different, you can print that object IDs, right? Or get hash code. Which one? S1 object. Okay, S1 hash code is how we can call S1 dot hash code. Yeah, it's returning hash code, right? This is the hash code. Next, the same thing. S2 hash code also printed. You know, right? Hash code importance. The same object is a mapping or different object. Already you learned the course. Okay. Now the scope is which one? Check in the XML file. The scope is what? Prototype. Okay. So prototype means whenever calling the get bean. So how many times I'm calling? 2 times. Line number 20 and another one is line number 23. 2 times I'm calling. So it's returning every time new object because scope is prototype. Clear? Test the application. So here is different object is returning and those hash code IDs are is different. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is a way to configure in the XML file. The same scenario, I want to work with annotation approach. Okay. So to execute your application, take this screenshot first of all. Screenshot and paste in the WordPad or Word.
That's
Done. Next, which is required? The bean class is required. Make this a bean class. This commented things you can remove, and just to take this. As is, you can take a screenshot.
done.
Okay, next, which is required? Main class. Main class, what logic I written? This is you can take screenshot up to line number 33.
Done, sir.
Very good. Everyone is done. Respond at least. The puja have you done? COVID.
Yes, sir.
Jaishin.
Yes.
Okay. Then next approach is annotation way. Now I don't want to use this XML in XML file. I don't want to configure this bean ID and class, and I'm removing this tag. So in that case, what should I do? We have to use @component to tag, right? Or else we can use @service. Okay. So now I'm uncommenting these annotations @component and the bean ID is student. So I'm writing the bean ID external. If you don't write, what happens? Default class name is taking with the start with a small letter. And what is the scope here? Default scope. So default scope means we are not configuring anything. So default one which is taking singleton is taking. And this value I'm initializing by which annotation? @value annotation, student ID. And this is a student ID. And this time I'm changing the number something. Okay. Something. I'm giving some values. Okay. Here, save. Okay, this is ready. Next, in the main class, we are not reading this XML approach, right? We can comment this XML approach. I'm using which one? Annotation approach. So uncomment, control shift to forward slash, backward slash, uncomment. So we are using annotation approach. So which class is create object? Annotation config application context, and we can scan the base package. What is the package name here? RAS, not NIT. Okay, this is a package com.ras. Okay, and we are here reading these details com.ras.bin. Okay, and next one, refreshing this container, and then those beans are object is created. Then we are calling the student bean for S1 student and S2, and you're checking the hash code and check this condition. Okay, now we can test this up. In that case, we are not reading this XML, just everything is configured in the bean only. Object creation and initializing the values by using this annotation. And scope also we are using which annotation. That annotation name is @scope. Okay, now we are not mentioning anything, right? So which is taking default singleton. Okay, so now we can check. So we are getting right same ID, getting same hash code and same data. Correct, 1523 just now given. And if condition is true, line number 28 is printed. Same object returning. Correct. And now I want to change the singleton to prototype. So we can write here value equal, or we can directly you can give scope. Okay, it's a which type? String type. We can mention prototype. Here an XML file we already configured, right? So like that we can write prototype scope equal. Okay, scope equal to now it's a prototype. Prototype means it's now is returning new object whenever calling the get bean. Clear? Now I'm testing. Now is a different object returning, and those hash code IDs are different. Clear?
Sir, is it necessary to refresh the context?
Yes. If you are not using, we will get an error. A runtime exception will get. So yesterday I tried this approach. So I commented this context reflection. So what happened? We'll check at runtime. You first time, okay, first time is required. Yeah, already this container is there, right? So whenever executing, first time is required. So yesterday I executed with without this one, the first time. So it's
Okay.
not context is not loaded. Already this context is loaded same bean, right? So this time is all accepted. So you can check the first time, not comment it and execute. You can see. Okay. So understood the two ways. One is the XML approach and another one is annotation approach. Annotation approach, we have to create an object for annotation config application context. If we are using XML approach, we have to create object for class path XML application context. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir.
take the screenshot main method. Already you taken, right? Which one bean, student bean, and this one. Just we uncommented this one. You can take the screenshot and execute after this session.
Done, sir.
Good. So understood. If your interview asks these questions, what are the scopes in a Spring Bean? Can you answer now?
Yes, sir.
Let me check. I ask the one. Yeah, Ram Charan. What are the Spring Bean scopes are there? Unmute and explain. Ram Charan, are you there? Or simply log in? Can you hear me, guys? Other guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why, Ram Charan? Every time you are on mute only, but you are giving a message, chat message. At least reply in the chat box. In your area, some noise is there. Just you can ping in the group chat so that I can know, right? Is there? So everyone should interact, right? Simply log in and put in a mute and doing other work is not correct. What should I understand now? Tell me, Mubashir. about Ramchan is joined or not, or is not listening. So this is an online class, right? That's the reason I'm everyone interacting. Okay. Next to Sai Kumar. Sai Kumar, can I explain about how many Spring Bean scopes are there? No, what are that? Good. Request, session, global session. Okay, fine. Among these five, we are using in the core context model. What are that? Singleton and prototype. So when should I use singleton and when should I use prototype? In which scenario? Tell me, Sai Kumar. When should I use singleton and when should I use prototype? This is an important interview question. We discussed, right? And we executed in the application wise, correct? Yeah, practically also I explained this example. Next, Vamshi. Vamshi Kumar. Are you there? These guys are there or not? Simply log in. Why you're joining? Waste of their time, right? If not responding. Next to Jaishin. Jaishin are there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What you understood my question? Can I repeat the question? Can I repeat? So
Yes,
when should you know understood, right? The Spring Bean scopes. Sai is just now explained 5 times, right? So
Right.
my next question is, when should I use a scope is a singleton or a scope is prototype?
Prototypes.
When should I use? Which scenario? Which requirement I use a prototype or which scenario I need to use a singleton? So already I explained, right? To Mubashiri asked this question.
Yes, sir.
And also I shown this example wise how I executed how with the condition here. The both condition is true, same object is returning, and in the console is returning different. So different means we are using scope is prototype. So where you are writing, we can write through XML wise. In XML configuration, scope equal to add like this. Otherwise, if you are using annotation, we can write it the scope equal to prototype. Like this also we can convey to Spring container. So that is returning unique object every time whenever you're calling the get bean. When you're calling get bean of student ID. Clear?
Okay.
And when should I use it? So I don't want to get the same object for the each request. You can use the prototype. So
Okay.
if it is a common data for the all users, then we can use singleton. So I given the best example. Like in web application, if you log in, for example, you log in the FB, Twitter, right? So every user has same credential like you have. No, right?
No, sir.
So in that case, which one I have to use?
Prototype.
Very good. So this is a way to you can convey in the interviewer. In interviewer, always give the scenario wise or example wise you can explain, so that you can impress. So by hand the definition and syntax is not work out nowadays. So every answer should give with the scenario wise, the requirement wise. Like let's assume this is my requirement. In this requirement, I can use the prototype. Like that, you can start your explanation in the interview. Okay. So don't by heart any definitions and syntax. So we require the implementation logic. Have you that logic or not? They are testing in the interview panel. So this is my requirement. For requirement, how you develop the code and how is the Spring is providing the features or methods. Correct? So
Yes, sir.
nowadays you think like this manner. So by adding syntax and executing, that's a old style. What is your requirement? For that requirement, how you develop? For development, we are using Spring Framework. How Spring Framework is giving the methods, classes. That is our job is done. The everyday company are doing same thing only, same job only. So the client they are giving this requirement. I want to return new object or same object. Yeah, I can do. How we are doing? I'm using the Spring. The in Spring, what are the ways are there? Learn it and implement it. Then your task is completed. No, habits right now onwards. Not only you, everyone. In interview panel, you should explain the scenario wise. Even if ask that inheritance also don't give the traditional definition. Take the simple example. Like already existed class is there. I don't want to write again. So I want to reuse those things. Then I can use inheritance. So, but again, I inherited things, whatever getting the superclass property is not meet my requirements. So I am doing override. Correct? Like that, we can give definition scenario wise, example wise. Right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Still, these guys are back or not? Ram Charan and Vamshi. Just inform in the WhatsApp group. Inform are you there or not? Ask. You can ask. Yeah, COVID, you can ping to them. Is there already, right? These guys, Ram Charan and Vamshi. Yeah, Vamshi, are you there?
Sir,
You come back? Or are you already there?
sir, I am right. Sir, I am in online, sir, but I cannot understand your classes attended today.
You can't understand or you understand?
Understand, sir?
Then you can answer, right? Whenever I ask that, you can reply at least. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
What is the meaning of not responding?
Sir, joined today.
Okay, no problem. Today, join, no problem. Today, what we discussed, just to spring scope, we discussed and executed. This is today's session only I'm asking, not our previous, right? At least respond, yeah. If you, yeah, the next is later. Answer, do you know or not know? That is the second option. First, you have to interact.
Yes, sir.
Next time we should do it. If you answer no, you can say that explain. Otherwise, I don't know. You can tell that I can explain once again.
Okay, sir.
Okay, everyone should interact. Next is come back. Ram Charan, still in mute. Okay, so those guys, so don't waste our time, right? But, people. So today is enough. Today's session, or can I continue? Next one is a Spring Bean life cycle. This is an important topic. Okay, along with the Spring Bean is a container is activating, right? For example, in core Java, along with our class loading, I want to execute a few things. For example, I want to execute before main method. Before main method, I want to execute my logic. Which is the best way? Can anyone explain?
Static block, sir.
Yes, static block, or you can, yeah, that's the best way. In the same way, in our, yeah, continue.
No, sir. You can.
So, say in core Java, our custom logic, our user-defined logic, you want to execute before main method, or at the time of class loading only. At the time of class loading, where in method area, in JVM memory blocks, right? At the time of class loading only, I want to execute my user-defined logic. Then our user-defined method, user-defined which method? Static method only. The static method we have to invoke in static block. Then that logic will execute at the time of loading only. Same way, here in the servlet also is there. Servlet lifecycle is there, right? Can you explain servlet lifecycle? Anyone? Servlet lifecycle, init method, service method, destroy method, right? Lifecycle methods are there, right? Along with the servlet lifecycle, your custom logic you want to execute, we are calling inside a init method, right? Same thing, Spring has its own lifecycle. Okay, Along with this bean container, life cycle means bean is starting life to death, okay, birth to death. So this take caring by container, spring container here. So my requirement is along with the spring container executing, I want at the time of instantiation of the spring bean container, I want to execute my user defined logic as well, like a connection logic, and get the connection at the time of before get the request from the client. So some scenarios are there, right? So those things I want to execute along with the Spring Bean lifecycle before our waiting for request. So then we have a here init method and destroy method is there. We can configure init method in XML and destroy method. And annotation wise is annotations are there. Pre and post methods are there. So we can use that annotation. Okay, this we can discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow maybe we'll join some more people, right? Monday. Okay, this is Spring Bean
Yes, sir.
lifecycle example. We can continue tomorrow. And once is done, this our Spring core and context model is completed. Next we can start Spring JDBs, and I will share the document. Just ping your mail IDs in the chat box, and I'll send it. Okay. Just ping your email IDs. So I'm sharing whatever we discussed in the core context model. I'm sharing to mail. So everyone has this MS Office, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm attaching to mail. And who are missing it, you can share to them. Okay. And today you have a free time, right? You can go through this document. What we discussed still now. Spring core and context. Context now. And everyone giving mail IDs. I got here. Pooja. COVID. Any questions? In meanwhile, you can ask any questions. I'm sharing the composing mail. Meanwhile, if you have any question, we can discuss. Jai Shri.
Sir, can you give me the examples? Just now you have told like scope related prototype,
Singleton prototype.
singleton and prototype.
Okay. First the Pooja will explain. Pooja, you understood, right? I maximum 3 times I explained it. Pooja, can you explain? Is asking. Is your name? Jaiswin?
Sir, it's Shivraj.
Shivraj, yeah. This Pooja can first explain. I will explain later. Still we have doubt. After we explain.
Yes, sir. So if we go for singleton, just a second. Okay, so by default we have the Spring container has a scope singleton only. So where we use singleton is that if we want only one object to be generated by the container. For example, if we take a scenario where singleton is being used, is that in the application, if we have a web application where our Oracle connection is there, for every user, the Oracle connection in the application is going to be same. Whatever we give the password, root, the password as root, it is going to be same for all the users who are accessing it. So this thing we can make it as a singleton. You can consider it as an example for singleton. Whenever we want our Spring container to create multiple objects, we change the scope as prototype. if we change the scope as prototype, multiple objects is going to be created. If you ask for the example for this, where different user is logging in, I myself will keep a username as a Pooja, and then I have my own password, and then some other person will log in with their own credentials. So every time when you run the application, you have to create multiple objects for the multiple people. So in that case, you can go for scope is equal to prototype.
So in prototype, we have multiple objects, and each object act like a singleton. You mean to say that?
Sorry, if you go for prototype, multiple objects are going to be created.
Can you repeat the same question, Sivaras, what you are asking?
In prototype, we create multiple objects, sir.
Yes, correct.
And in singleton, we'll create only single object.
Correct.
So in multiple object scenario, each object will act as a singleton. Like each object contains single username and single password.
That is a new object is creating every time. That is not a singleton, right? The scenario is, for example, if your FB application is there, your login. Here 10 members are with the 8 members are there, 8 members are logging. In that case, what happens? 8 objects are created, and 8 objects are unique. Okay, and if we are the scope equal to prototype, instead of scope equal to prototype, I'm using scope equal to singleton. Then 8 members are logging. Then what happens? Only one object is created for 8 members sharing the same object. Prototype scenario, what happens? 8 objects are created. Singleton object scenario, what will do? Only one object is created, and this one object is sharing to all the users. Same data accessing for all these 8 users. Clear?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay then. Yeah, thank you, Pooja. And I shared the document. To go through that. If you have any doubt, you can note down and you can ask tomorrow session. And inform to your friends as well. They are not attending regularly.
Yes, sir.
So now the classes are understanding, or I'm taking my feedback. How is my teaching? You like or not? Yeah, Pooja, tell me one by one, like I'm taking feedback from you.
It is perfect, sir. Like the most important part is that you're letting us know how the real-time scenarios are there, and how we write in real time. Like instead of keeping the normal names, like if we create a variable, you're letting us know like how the variable name should be there, camel casing and all. Yeah, it is good that we are exposing to the real-time environment.
Have you learned before this, for my session, this standards?
Not really, but we were just trying to understand, like with the Google and all, we were understanding, but it was not up to the mark. Only after your explanation, we understood like how we need to write in a specified way.
Thank you. And same thing, inform to your friends so that when they join, your classroom people. Thank you. Yeah, next COVID bit Sanki.
Yes, sir. Teaching is fine, sir.
How is my teaching style? Is understandable to you or not?
Yes, yes, sir. It is understandable.
Any suggestion from your side?
Nothing, sir. It is fine.
Do you like my teaching style?
Yes, sir.
Next to Jaishir.
Sir, nice, good, sir. I like.
Okay, thank you. Any suggestion? You want to give any suggestion?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next to Mubashir, Varish.
Yes, sir. I am comfortable with your teaching. It is good. That's why I am attending regular classes.
Yeah, same, thank you. Same thing you can inform to your friends, your classmates. It's all usable
sir.
information, right? They are missing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will.
Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you. Sai Kumar? Okay. Before my class, after my class, do you have find any changes in your writing the code? Explain your way, no problem. Don't fear. What you want, you can tell. I don't beat you anything. If you given the wrong answer, I'm correcting myself. You can give suggestion, no problem. Okay. Shivas?
Sir, I'm good with your teaching. I have only one suggestion that can you explain the theory part more? Because most of the students don't know what is Spring and why do we are using the annotations and the XML part.
Yeah, I'm giving the same example, right? So why we are going XML to? So the XML is the problem is we are giving step by step only. But some people are coming first day. First day, some people are not joined. Second day they join. They are missing. At least they don't ask also doubt. Without asking, how do I know? I think everyone following. That's the reason I'm moving on. That's the reason everything asking is clearer. If you have a problem, you can inform so that I can simplify. Correct?
Most of the students they're not getting the theory part. They're just going blindly the program as part while you are explaining. They don't know why are they using.
Then you should ask, right? Theoretical, like in core Java, inheritance, multi-threading, you can give much theory, right? In core Java level. But if coming to the framework level, those things don't expect much. So directly is there. Requirement is what is our requirement and what method is there and where is fixing. These three things are is enough coming to the framework level. In core Java level, what you said is correct. But framework level, it's already cut short is there. Simplifying on the top of the Java, right? So example, scope is there. Just now, in that case, what's the theory I give? Already I given the theory. Scope, what purpose, and how many types, and how we can write. XML way we can write annotation wise. I'm giving, right?
Yes, sir. Right. Just like today, related to scope examples. In next classes, give us more examples in real-time scenarios, sir.
Yeah, if you ask, I can give, but you are not interacting. I'm keep on asking. No one is responding. So what should I do? I simply go on next, right? If you ask, this is interaction. We know each other.
Yes, sir. I'll tell them today or tomorrow also. The classes, whoever who are attending the classes.
So don't much expect from like the core Java. Here, framework is already there. So, like today example, or yesterday what we discussed at the rate component, at the rate auto y, at the rate value. I given right. First, I take the topic name and the topic where I'm using in the real time, and to implement that annotation wise, that scenario wise, and we are giving some example. That is much more enough. You can check in under. No one give like this example.
Yes, sir.
You can check any Satya or some other insight. No one give like this.
I know, sir. I already the classes attended the related to Spring and Spring Boot. So I know the basic knowledge. What are the annotation will be available, and how many configuration will be available in Spring and Spring Boot. So I am quite comfortable with your class. The students who are attending the earlier classes, they are not attending because they don't know the collection. They haven't completed the collections in Core Java. They know the only list part. They haven't completed mapping or relating concepts. That's why they are not comfortable to attend the class. And they are not sure what doubts they are asking. They are trying to ask. That's the reason I think they are not attending the class.
Then they ask the doubt so that I can simplify it. How do I know their intention, right?
I'll tell them to attend the class, sir. If you have doubt, at that time you will ask. Sir will explain again and again if you are not able to. understand.
His voice is low.
Hello.
Yeah, now is something better. Yeah, what you said last statement is. Can you
I'll
repeat?
tell them, sir. I'll discuss with the
Okay.
students to attend the class daily.
Okay. So at least you guys, 6 members regularly attend without fail. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I will give as much as I know. My experience I am sharing completely. I'm not hiding my side. But your
Yes.
side is you should remember it, note down it, and practice it. Okay. As much as I know in the scenarios and the use case and interview process, I'm sharing everything. My side. On your side, you should follow it and remember it and execute it. That's it. And you can get the success in interview. That's it. Okay.
Okay. Sir.
Yeah, Vamshi, next. Vamshi, today is the first class for you. I think you already attended right, previously.
Yeah, he's also one of the students, which I asked. Yesterday I told him to attend the class.
Shivraj is
Vamshi, this theory is useful for only interview purpose, basic knowledge only. After that, we need to write the coding, right? Write the code and the scenarios, use cases. So if you remember this use cases scenario, the much theory is not required. You can example like this. The scenario wise, you can give example if you interview ask this.
okay, sir.
Correct?
Okay, sir.
So automatically covered. My intention is if you know the use case, if you know the importance of that annotation, then automatically covered the theory. My intention is if you understand the where is the fitting the scenarios, then automatically you can explain the theory concept in your own way, right? That is my intention.
Okay, sir.
For example, today we'll discuss scope. Scope I given the process and use cases and implementation way. I given all the inputs. Then you can make a statement that has become a theory. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I'm giving all the data. That your duty is you make a sentence in your own understanding way. That is remembering forever and ever instead of by adding the things. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes or no? I given or not? I given complete information. Theory, topic name. First, I'm giving the topic name. This topic use case and implementation process and how many ways we are implementing XML ways and annotation ways. That's it. Then this you can make a sentence. It's become a theory. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yapuja is the correct approach or not?
Yes, sir, that is.
So some of the teaching style is different. First they are giving theory and later they are telling use case. Then your mindset is on theory only, not behind that, not next level, right? So that's the reason for my teaching to other teachings. So you can understand slowly which is better. Okay, if you require that style, I will provide, no problem.
Okay, sir.
So my intention is you are not a kid, right? You know the good is what is everything you know. Then when I get the question, then you can make a statement, you can explain. That is my intention. Okay, I will give you much theory. You can interact, man. First of all, you can interact so that today we interacted, so we got many questions. So like Mubshir asked it, survey I use, where is it? Like that we are interacting wise, we can get more ideas and more explanation. Correct, Mubshir?
Okay, sir.
Mubashir, Kanashir correct or wrong?
Yes, sir. You are right, sir.
So we can interact so that we can get more ideas and more content will come. Use cases and theory. Theory automatically cover. Okay, we'll do that in next class. Okay. Okay, thanks for your feedback, everyone. Any questions? We can wind up the session.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. No questions, we can wind up the session.